Welcome to the Arabian Peninsula, where life itself feels like a dare. A land where sand burns hotter than steel and the sky doesn't forgive mistakes. Yet somehow, wings still dare to rise. Out here, survival isn't about beauty, it's about attitude. The birds of Arabia don't sing, they endure. From vultures that feast on death to eagles that rule the mountains. From ghosts of the dunes to shadows gliding over salt plains. Every wing beat here is a story of fire, grit, and genius. Think the desert is empty? Tell that to the ostrich sprinting through 50 degrees Celsius heat or the Egyptian vulture cracking eggs with stones like a desert engineer. Even in a world of thirst and dust, life finds a way, and it usually has feathers. So buckle up. We're flying across the land of prophets and sandstorms, where survival itself has wings, and where every shadow in the sky has a story sharper than the sun. This is Wild Wings of the Arabian Peninsula, 20 desert survivors of fire and sand. What do you do when the desert wants you dead, and you can't even fly? Most birds flap away from danger. This one just stares at the sun like, that all you got? They call it the common ostrich, but there's nothing common about a bird that can sprint through hell and come out smirking. 2 meters tall, legs built like steel pistons, and a stare that says, try me. When other creatures dive for shade, the ostrich kicks up sand and keeps running, literally turning the desert into its personal treadmill. Who's really the smarter survivor? The bird that escapes or the one that adapts? Because this big guy, he's been doing laps around evolution for millions of years. Now here's a wild fact. Ostriches have a built-in cooling system so efficient it would shame your air conditioner. They don't sweat, they don't pant, they just reroute blood to cool off, like walking radiators on legs. And when it comes to water, they barely drink at all. They pull moisture straight from seeds and roots, like living solar panels harvesting hydration. Even their eggs are mini miracles, each one the size of a melon, strong enough to survive the desert sun without cooking the chick inside. That's not luck, that's design. Nature didn't make them pretty, it made them practical. And get this, for all their swagger, ostriches are actually tender-hearted parents. Several females lay their eggs in one massive communal nest, guarded by one supermom and a surprisingly loyal dad. Teamwork in the middle of nowhere. Didn't see that coming, huh? Maybe flightless isn't a weakness at all. Maybe it's proof you don't need wings to rise above your world, because when you can run faster than a lion, kick hard enough to break a jaw, and survive heat that melts asphalt, you've earned the right to walk proud. So tell me, would you rather soar for a moment or stand your ground forever? The ostrich already answered. He's still out there, running through fire and sand. And honestly, he looks like he's enjoying it. Ever seen a bird that looks like it was forged in fire? Black wings, crimson face, orange tail. The bat-lure doesn't just fly, it performs. While most raptors glide with precision, this one twists, rolls, and tilts like it's showing off to the sun. In a world of beige sand and pale sky, it's the desert's only spark of color, and it knows it. Its name comes from French, bat-lure, meaning acrobat, and it earns that title every day. You'll see it skimming the dunes, wings barely brushing the heat haze like a stunt pilot at an air show. But this isn't about entertainment, it's survival. That erratic flight helps it scan miles of desert for one thing. Food. And what's on the menu? Everything the desert leaves behind. Carrion, reptiles, even other birds. The bat-lure's not picky. It's both hunter and cleaner, the balancing act between life and decay. Here's a fact that's almost unfair. It can stay airborne for up to 8 hours straight without landing once, just gliding, drifting, and dancing with the thermals. Its wingspan is short, but the tail acts like a built-in rudder, letting it turn on a dime. Every move looks choreographed, but it's really instinct honed by generations of heat and hunger. And yes, it mates for life. Male and female bat-lures soar side by side for decades, looping through the sky together. Even their courtship looks like an air ballet. Wing rolls, dives, flips, all synchronized perfectly. Imagine finding someone who doesn't text back, but can roll 300 feet above your head in formation. Some call it vain, that bright face, those flashy feathers, the way it struts midair. But maybe vanity is just another kind of confidence. In a world where survival means blending in, the battler wins by doing the opposite. It stands out. So what's tougher, hiding from the world, or burning so bright everyone sees you coming? The desert doesn't reward subtlety. It rewards those who fly like they own the sky. And the battler? It's not flying to survive, it's flying to be seen. You ever notice how some birds don't just live in the wild, they command it? That's the tawny eagle. Not the biggest, not the flashiest, but it walks into the desert like a general who already won the war. It wears the color of the land itself, gold dust, burnt brown, and sand-baked bronze. Perfect camouflage. From the ground, it's invisible. From the air, it's inevitable. It's not a high-speed chaser like a falcon. This eagle plays the long game. It'll perch for hours, still as stone, waiting for the right gust of wind or the wrong move from a rabbit. Then boom, 2 meters of silent precision, and the desert has one less heartbeat. Here's the first thing you don't expect. The tawny eagle's eyesight is so sharp it can spot a moving lizard from 3 kilometers away. 3 kilometers. You can't even read your phone screen in sunlight, and this bird reads lunch menus in the mirage. And the second? It's a recycler before recycling was cool. If it doesn't find live prey, it joins the vultures on cleanup duty. Not out of desperation, but intelligence. Why waste energy chasing something when nature already provides? That's desert wisdom, not laziness. It mates for life too, a rare loyalty in the world of wings. A pair builds a fortress of sticks on cliffs or acacias, returning to the same nest year after year. They raise chicks together under heat that could fry an egg because here, family isn't comfort, it's survival strategy. You could say the tawny eagle's superpower isn't its speed or its strength, it's patience. The kind of calm that only comes from knowing the desert bends to you, not the other way around. So let me ask you, in a world obsessed with noise and speed, who really wins? The one that flutters for attention, or the one that waits for the perfect moment to strike? The tawny eagle doesn't rush, it just watches, and when it moves, everything else gets quiet. That's not hunting, that's command. You think migration is tiring? Try flying 5,000 miles from Central Asia to Arabia, every single year, just to spend your winter in a furnace. That's the steppe eagle, the long-distance traveler of the desert, the bird that treats continents like pit stops. While other species huddle in forests or wetlands, this one prefers open wastelands. Endless horizons, no shade, no mercy. And it thrives there. Its name may sound gentle, but it's a powerhouse. Broad wings, a hooked beak, and the kind of focus you can't buy. It's got a taste for rodents, reptiles, and sometimes other birds. Whatever the dunes offer, it takes. But what's fascinating is how it hunts. Low, wide sweeps across the sand, gliding so close the shadow itself startles the prey. Then, boom, precision, strike. No drama, no chase, just one clean move. Here's something you probably didn't expect. Steppe eagles can soar for hours without flapping, riding invisible air currents the way surfers ride waves. Their wingspan? Nearly 7 feet. That's taller than most basketball players. And they can stay aloft for 6 hours straight, scanning the dunes like silent satellites. But life isn't easy for this traveler. When power lines slice through migration routes, hundreds die each year, electrocuted mid-journey. Some countries have even started designing eagle-safe poles just for them. You know you've made it when engineers redesign the grid because of you. Despite all that, the steppe eagle keeps returning, year after year, generation after generation, because to this bird, migration isn't escape. It's memory. It remembers routes older than human history, skies that never belonged to anyone. And here's the kicker. It's so tied to the land that the steppe eagle became Kazakhstan's national bird. even though it spends half its life far beyond those borders. A true citizen of the wind. So tell me, in a world obsessed with ownership and borders, who's really free? The ones who build walls, or the ones who just rise above them? The steppe eagle doesn't need a map. It's the kind of traveler that carries the horizon inside its wings. And the desert? That's just another stop on the way home. You know those stories about ghosts haunting the desert? Turns out one of them has feathers. The greater spotted eagle doesn't roar across the dunes. It slips through them, silent, unseen, and absolutely in control. You almost never spot it first. It spots you, a shadow gliding low, vanishing into the shimmer of heat. Here one moment, gone the next. No flashy colors, no drama, just dark chocolate feathers dappled with faint gold, like an old relic half buried in sand. It's the master of the ambush. Unlike the bold steppe eagle that flaunts its power, the greater spotted eagle believes in quiet authority. It waits in the half-light of dawn, wings slightly spread, head still, a perfect silhouette against the haze. Then with a single silent dive, it ends the story before you even realize there was one. Here's a secret. This eagle doesn't just belong to Arabia. It's a traveler between worlds, breeding in Eastern Europe, wintering in the Middle East, and somehow it always finds its way back across thousands of miles, guided by nothing but starlight and instinct. Every year it crosses borders we humans can't agree on, without ever asking for permission. And get this, when the desert heat rises past survival, the eagle climbs above the thermals, into thin, cool air, where nothing else dares. It uses the desert's own fury to rise higher. That's not escape, that's mastery. Most of the time, though, it's content to vanish into the mirage, hunting from shadow to shadow. A whisper of motion, a flick of feathers, gone again. It doesn't need to be seen to be legendary. So what do you trust more? The predator that roars or the one you never hear coming? Power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's just a shadow that passes once across the sand, and the desert remembers. The greater spotted eagle, the phantom that proves even silence can rule the sky. They say intelligence is what separates humans from animals. Clearly, whoever said that never met an Egyptian vulture. Picture this, a vulture the size of a hawk with a white cloak, a punk yellow face, and a walk that screams confidence. In a world where heat melts bones, this bird doesn't just survive, it innovates. While others wait for leftovers, the Egyptian vulture shows up with a plan and a toolkit. See that ostrich egg sitting in the sun? Most predators give up, too tough to crack, but not this guy. He picks up a rock in his beak, marches over, and smash. Breakfast is served. That's not instinct. That's problem solving. It's one of the only birds on Earth known to use tools. And it figured that out long before humans learned to Google it. But smarts aren't its only trick. It's also a master of adaptation. While other vultures rely on sight alone, this one uses smell, memory, and even social cues. Watching where other birds gather, then slipping in for its share. No brute force, just brains and timing. Here's something wild. Egyptian vultures travel thousands of miles between continents, crossing deserts that kill everything unprepared. And when the sun's at its worst, they still glide. Wings locked, beak open, coasting on heat like desert surfers. They even play a part in desert health. By cleaning up carrion and waste, they prevent disease. Nature's janitors with style. And because they scavenge bones, dung, and leftovers, they recycle nutrients back into the ecosystem. You could say they're the unsung sanitation department of Arabia. But don't mistake intelligence for softness. These birds are tough. They outthink the heat, outlast hunger, and outsmart competition that's twice their size. That yellow face isn't for show. It's a warning label. Don't underestimate me. So riddle me this. In a place where strength burns out fast, who really wins? The beast that fights, or the one that figures it out first? The Egyptian vulture doesn't just live in the desert, it runs it. One rock, one egg, one brilliant idea at a time. If the desert had a king, it wouldn't wear gold. It'd wear blood-red skin and stare you down like a warlord. That's the lappet-faced vulture, the alpha scavenger, the heavyweight nobody argues with. It's massive, wings stretching nearly 3 meters, shadow wide enough to make foxes freeze mid-step. When this bird lands, everything else backs off. Smaller vultures, jackals, even hyenas, all wait their turn because the lappet face doesn't share. It commands the carcass. And it's not just muscle. That bald crimson head and wrinkled lappets, those flaps of skin, aren't random. They're built for the job. Less feather means less bacteria. While others dig timidly, this one dives straight into the mess, tearing through hide and bone that even lions can't finish. Call it grotesque if you want. The desert calls it efficient. You might think scavenging is easy, but in Arabia, where death dries faster than decay, finding a meal is a science. The lappet-faced vulture soars at altitudes where it can see miles across the dunes, using thermal columns to stay aloft for hours. When it spots a fresh carcass, it dives in first and leaves last. It's not waiting for permission. Fun fact, they can go a week without eating, then devour a third of their body weight in one sitting. That's like you skipping lunch all week, then crushing 40 burgers in one go, and still flying off like nothing happened. And despite the reputation, they're not heartless. Pairs mate for life. They defend their nests fiercely, raising chicks in cliffs and rocky outcrops under 45 degrees Celsius heat. Even warlords have soft spots. But make no mistake, this bird isn't here to please anyone. It's raw power wrapped in purpose. When it spreads its wings, the sky itself seems to step aside. So tell me, in a world obsessed with beauty, what do you make of a creature that survives by doing the dirty work? Because out here, the lappet-faced vulture isn't just cleaning up the desert, it's ruling it. Some birds fly because they have to. The Eurasian griffin flies because it can't stop. Up in the burning silence above Arabia's dunes, this pale giant drifts, wings wide, head down, scanning the earth like a ghost with a purpose. You might never see it flap. It just rides the wind, floating on invisible rivers of heat that rise off the sand. Hours pass, no sound, no effort, just motion without mercy. It's a vulture, yes, but think less grim and more glorious. Cream-colored wings, pale chest, dark flight feathers slicing through sunlight. If the lappet-faced vulture is the desert's warlord, the griffin is its monk. Silent, disciplined, endlessly patient. This bird can soar 5 kilometers high, higher than clouds, scanning a radius of 50 miles. It's basically an airborne satellite with feathers. And when it finally spots death below, it doesn't rush. It spirals down slowly, deliberately, with the calm of something that's seen it all before. Here's the secret behind that calm. Teamwork. Eurasian griffins hunt as a flock. One spots the prize, the others follow. A moving network of eyes and instinct. It's social order written in the sky. No chatter, no argument, just silent coordination over the endless sand. When the meal's done, they rise together again. No trace, no waste, just perfect efficiency. They're the cleanup crew of creation, ensuring the desert doesn't choke on its own silence. And yes, even death becomes graceful when the griffin's in charge. What's wild is how far they roam. A single bird can glide from Turkey to Oman, crossing borders, mountain ranges, and seas, without breaking rhythm. They follow wind, not maps, no passports, no politics, just sky. So tell me, who's truly free? The one who claims the land or the one who owns the wind? The Eurasian griffin doesn't conquer. It just keeps moving, serene, unstoppable, eternal. A living reminder that even in the harshest places, grace still finds room to fly. If the desert had a heartbeat, this bird would be the pause between each one. Meet the cinereous vulture, the largest, darkest, and most intimidating silhouette ever to haunt Arabia's skies. They call it cinereous for its ash-gray feathers. But make no mistake, this isn't a dull bird. It's the embodiment of silence and power, rolled into a creature with a 10-foot wingspan and eyes like burnt gold. When it soars, everything else, falcons, kites, even other vultures, moves aside. It doesn't rush, doesn't shout, doesn't need to prove anything. It just exists. And somehow that's enough to dominate the desert. Unlike its rowdier cousins, the cinereous doesn't mob carcasses or fight for scraps. It's selective, strategic. It waits until the chaos dies down, then descends, calm, deliberate, unstoppable. Every feather is control. Every glide is a statement. And here's what's fascinating. Its head isn't bald like most vultures. It's covered in fine down, a mark of confidence. It doesn't need to plunge face first into decay. It chooses what to eat. Think of it as the aristocrat of scavengers. Never dirty, never desperate, always precise. Its nest, built on cliffs or lonely trees, can be over 2 meters wide, a wooden throne overlooking miles of nothing. Mated pairs use the same nest year after year, expanding it each season till it becomes a fortress of bones and branches. Even their home says it loud, permanence in a land of dust. Despite their power, these vultures face a vanishing sky. Habitat loss, poisoning, and power lines have pushed their numbers down across Asia and Arabia. They're survivors, but even kings can bleed when the world forgets to look up. Still, when a cinereous vulture circles above, the desert feels smaller, quieter, as if everything beneath remembers its place. So tell me, what's stronger, the beast that roars or the one that rules in silence? Because this bird doesn't chase attention. It already has gravity on its side. The cinereous vulture, the shadow that doesn't fall on the land, it owns it. Now imagine a bird so metal, it eats bones for breakfast. No, seriously. The bearded vulture doesn't scavenge for meat, it waits for the bones. Then it flies high above the rocks, drops them mid-air, and shatters them open, like a chef cracking crab claws. Call it morbid genius or prehistoric poetry, but this bird's menu is 90% bone. Up close, it looks like something dreamt up by a myth maker. Black eyeliner streaks down its face, a fiery orange chest from iron-stained dust, baths and eyes that glow red like embers. It doesn't just fly, it haunts the sky. They used to say it carried off children. Truth is, it just carries the legend. Its Arabic name means bone crusher, and that's not exaggeration. It can drop a femur from 200 feet, crack it, then swoop down to slurp the marrow. Rich in calcium and fat, perfect for life where nothing grows. Where others starve, the bearded vulture thrives by turning waste into survival. Here's the part that makes scientists grin. This bird isn't improvising. It chooses flat rocks, waits for the right wind, and repeats the drop until the bone breaks clean. That's tool use, repetition, and patience. Intelligence in feathers. And the look? That's self-made. Those bright orange feathers? Not genetics, it's makeup. The bird deliberately bathes in iron-rich mud to dye itself fiery red. Why? Maybe intimidation, maybe fashion. Either way, it's the desert's first influencer. While most vultures live low and dirty, the bearded vulture climbs high, up to 5,000 meters, into the cold air of Arabia's border mountains. It nests on cliffs in places where even sound refuses to follow. Up there, it's not part of the food chain. It's the punctuation mark at the end of it. So what's scarier? A beast that kills, or one that turns death itself into art? The bearded vulture doesn't chase life, it refines it. And when a bone breaks in the mountains, the desert looks up, because they all know who just rang the dinner bell. If the desert had a secret weapon, it wouldn't roar. It would whisper, and that whisper has wings. Meet the Benelli's eagle, the stealth assassin of Arabia's cliffs, a bird so fast and so quiet that prey never even gets to panic. It's not huge, not flashy, just perfectly built for precision. Dark above, pale below, eyes burning amber. The kind of stare that measures distance before you even notice it's there. You won't see it coming. You'll just hear a soft whoosh, and then silence again. Bonelli's eagles rule the rocky canyons and dry wadis that carve through the Arabian Peninsula. They nest high in the cliffs, watching everything. Foxes, pigeons, lizards, even hares. From that perch, they dive at 160 kilometers per hour, turning air into a weapon. They don't need the size of a golden eagle or the fame of a steppe eagle. They have focus. Here's something wild. These eagles hunt in pairs. While one distracts, the other swoops from behind. A perfect ambush. No roar, no struggle, just strategy. It's teamwork so sharp it feels rehearsed. And unlike most raptors, Bonelli's eagles are homebodies. They pick one patch of land, a canyon, a gorge, a stretch of mountain, and rule it for life. Some pairs keep the same territory for over 15 years, raising chick after chick in the same fortress of sticks. That's not nesting, that's empire building. Scientists once called them temperamental because they fiercely attack intruders, even drones. But come on, if you defended your home for 2 decades in 50 degrees Celsius heat, you'd be cranky too. Up close, they look regal, but in flight, pure calculation. Every feather, every tilt, every shadow, optimized for dominance. They don't just live in the desert, they own its vertical space. So tell me, who's the real king? The loud, showy hunter that everyone sees coming? Or the one who never misses a kill and no one ever sees at all? The Bonelli's eagle doesn't boast. It doesn't warn. It just moves, and the desert falls silent. If eagles were superheroes, this one would be the underdog. Smaller, underestimated, but never outmatched. Meet the booted eagle, the desert's pint-sized powerhouse. It may look modest beside giants like the imperial or the steppe, but give it a thermal current and a target, and it'll show you why size stopped mattering a long time ago. It's called booted because of those feathered legs. Tiny snow-white pantaloons that make it look more like it's headed to a ballroom than a battlefield. But don't let the fashion fool you. Those legs strike with surgical precision, talons hitting harder than you'd think possible from a bird barely half the weight of its rivals. In Arabia, booted eagles work the middle ground. The dry valleys, scattered acacia groves, and stony plains. They aren't picky eaters. Small birds, snakes, rodents, whatever moves, it's on the menu. They hunt low and fast, hugging the ground, twisting through the heat shimmer like a mirage that suddenly bites. And here's the fun part. This eagle comes in 2 versions, light morph and dark morph. One pale and golden, the other chocolate brown and moody, like the desert's own day and night, both equally ruthless. In the same sky, they look like 2 halves of a thought, elegance and menace, sharing the same wind. Their migration is pure poetry. From Europe to Arabia, thousands of miles of open air, guided only by instinct and sunlight. And when they arrive, they don't just survive, they strut. Wings tucked, eyes locked, gliding so close to the dunes, it looks like the sand itself might reach up and bow. But here's the twist. They're often ignored. No majestic documentaries, no ancient myths, just a small eagle doing big things quietly. And yet, when storms roll in and vultures ground themselves, the booted eagle still flies. Light, fast, fearless. So maybe power isn't about being the biggest shadow in the sky. Maybe it's about never backing down, no matter who else is flying. The booted eagle, proof that in the desert, courage doesn't roar. It soars quietly and never looks back. If eagles were superheroes, this one would be the underdog. Smaller, underestimated, but never outmatched. Meet the booted eagle, the desert's pint-sized powerhouse. It may look modest beside giants like the imperial or the steppe, but give it a thermal current and a target, and it'll show you why size stopped mattering a long time ago. It's called booted because of those feathered legs. Tiny snow-white pantaloons that make it look more like it's headed to a ballroom than a battlefield. But don't let the fashion fool you. Those legs strike with surgical precision, talons hitting harder than you'd think possible from a bird barely half the weight of its rivals. In Arabia, booted eagles work the middle ground. The dry valleys, scattered acacia groves, and stony plains. They aren't picky eaters. Small birds, snakes, rodents, whatever moves, it's on the menu. They hunt low and fast, hugging the ground, twisting through the heat shimmer like a mirage that suddenly bites. And here's the fun part. This eagle comes in two versions, light morph and dark morph. One pale and golden, the other chocolate brown and moody, like the desert's own day and night, both equally ruthless. In the same sky, they look like two halves of a thought, elegance and menace, sharing the same wind. Their migration is pure poetry. From Europe to Arabia, thousands of miles of open air, guided only by instinct and sunlight. And when they arrive, they don't just survive, they strut. Wings tucked, eyes locked, gliding so close to the dunes, it looks like the sand itself might reach up and bow. But here's the twist. They're often ignored. No majestic documentaries, no ancient myths, just a small eagle doing big things quietly. And yet, when storms roll in and vultures ground themselves, the booted eagle still flies. Light, fast, fearless. So maybe power isn't about being the biggest shadow in the sky. Maybe it's about never backing down, no matter who else is flying. The booted eagle, proof that in the desert, courage doesn't roar. It soars quietly and never looks back. Blink and it's gone. That blur of gray slicing through the oasis palms, that was the Eurasian sparrowhawk, the smallest raptor in Arabia and easily one of the cockiest. It doesn't soar, it ambushes. Low, fast, silent. The ultimate drive-by hunter of the desert sky. While eagles pose on cliffs and vultures ride thermals, the sparrowhawk works the tight alleys of acacia and date palms, darting through gaps no bird that proud should even try. It's like watching a fighter jet chase a mosquito, only the jet wins. Every movement is explosive. A flick of wings, a snap of tail, and the kill's done before the prey even hears wind. Its body is pure aerodynamics. Long tail for steering, short wings for burst speed, and eyes so sharp they catch a heartbeat through branches. That's not luck. That's physics with feathers. Here's something that'll make you grin. Females are almost twice the size of males. She hunts pigeons, he hunts sparrows, and yes, she sometimes steals his food. Equality in the sky? Maybe. Terrifying efficiency? Definitely. Sparrowhawks don't build palaces either. They nest where they can. Cliffs, scrub trees, even power poles. And they defend those nests like they're guarding crown jewels. Any intruder gets dive-bombed until it leaves, or regrets evolution. They're wanderers at heart, drifting down from Europe and Central Asia each winter to claim Arabian oases as their hunting grounds. And even here, in 45 degrees Celsius heat, they keep that same city assassin rhythm. One strike, one meal, gone. They don't wait, they don't circle, they don't brag. They appear, take what they need, and vanish back into the glare. That's confidence you can't fake. So let me ask, what's real power? Being feared from afar, or being so precise the world doesn't even notice you until it's too late? The Eurasian sparrowhawk doesn't rule the desert. It owns the seconds no one else can catch. If the desert had alleyways, this bird would own every one of them. Meet the shikra, small, sharp, restless, and always ready to throw the first punch. It's not royalty like an eagle, not a ghost like a harrier. It's the raptor version of a street-smart hustler, slate gray above, pale below, with those blazing red eyes, the kind that say, yeah, I saw you move. It's built compact, short wings for instant acceleration, long tail for tight turns. 1 second it's perched on a wire or a thorny branch. The next it's a blur of motion chasing a sparrow through the dust. No buildup, no warning, just precision violence. The shikra isn't shy about its menu either. Lizards, small birds, insects. Basically anything that twitches. It doesn't need open plains or endless thermals. It hunts between rooftops, palm groves, and desert edges. Places too messy for the fancy raptors. That's the point. Where others can't adapt, the shikra thrives. It's also surprisingly bold. Farmers in Arabia see them dive-bombing crows 3 times their size and winning. They'll even take on snakes, striking with lightning speed, grabbing, twisting, done. Every move screams confidence. I'm small, but I dare you. Here's the twist. Shikras are incredibly adaptable. You'll find them in cities, villages, or far out in the wastelands. While other birds retreat from human noise, this one just moves in and makes it home. Traffic? Fine. Heat? Fine. Humans? Just part of the scenery. And yes, they mate for life. Partners who hunt together, preen together, and guard their nest like a desert gang. They're loyal, fierce, and efficient. No frills, no drama, just business. So tell me, in a world where everyone wants to look powerful, what about the ones who simply are? The shikra doesn't posture, doesn't roar, doesn't wait for applause. It strikes, wins, and moves on. The perfect mix of grit and grace. The desert may belong to eagles in legend, but in the day-to-day fight for survival, it's the shikra that runs the streets. Some birds conquer the air by moving. This one does it by not moving at all. Meet the black-winged kite, the raptor that hovers like a thought, perfectly still in midair, waiting for the world below to blink first. You'll spot it above Arabia's dry fields and scrublands. Pale gray wings stretched, tail flicking slightly, red eyes locked on the sand. No flapping, no circling, just suspended grace, like time forgot to move. Then without warning, a dive, a flash, a puff of dust, and silence again. It's hunting perfection boiled down to one ruthless motion. It's not big, barely the size of a crow, but it's all precision. Those jet black shoulder patches and gleaming red eyes give it the look of a desert samurai. It hunts rodents, small birds, and lizards, scanning from 50 feet up. When it spots the tiniest twitch of life, gravity becomes its weapon. Here's something to blow your mind. That hovering trick? It's pure muscle control. The black-winged kite flaps its wings just enough to cancel gravity, balancing against the wind like a living drone. No other raptor its size can hold position that long. Some hang for nearly a minute before striking. And it's not all steel and silence. This bird's got heart. Pairs are inseparable during nesting season, trading food mid-air in those cinematic courtship dances that look like sky choreography. He catches prey, flies up, hands it over to her mid-flight. A love language written in motion. They're patient parents too, building neat, compact nests of twigs high above the dunes. They raise chicks that learn to hover before they even learn to glide. Because in the desert, hesitation means hunger, and these kids get no excuses. The black-winged kite is the rare raptor that hunts with calm instead of chaos. It doesn't chase storms. It becomes part of the stillness between them. So tell me, is power about constant motion or about the ability to stop and still win? The black-winged kite doesn't fight the desert. It balances it, a blade of light, motionless against the burning sky. Now here's a plot twist. A raptor that doesn't chase rabbits or snakes. It hunts bees. Yeah, meet the oriental honey buzzard, the bird that looks like a hawk, flies like an eagle, and raids beehives like it's running a heist. It's not your typical desert predator. Slim, sleek, with a pigeon-like head and soft brown plumage. It looks almost gentle until you realize it's built for precision theft. While most birds fear bees, this one dives straight into their buzzing chaos with zero hesitation. And here's the genius. It's got armor. Special feathers on its face act like natural chainmail, blocking stings. Even its nostrils are slit-shaped to stop bees from crawling in. It's literally engineered for bee warfare. You'll find it cruising over Arabia's wadis and rocky slopes, following the smell of wild honey. When it spots a hive, it lands, claws tearing through bark or mud, tongue flicking out to grab the juicy larvae. High protein, high sugar, no regrets. Forget protein shakes. This bird eats the gym. But the honey buzzard's not just a fighter, it's a strategist. Instead of staying put, it migrates thousands of miles between Asia and Arabia, timing its arrival with honey seasons. It knows exactly when the desert blooms, when the bees get busy, and when it's buffet time. Call that what you want. I call it calendar-level intelligence. Even its disguise game is elite. Juveniles mimic the plumage of more dangerous hawks to keep other predators away. That's not coincidence. That's costume design. Nature's version of fake it till you make it. And when the work's done, the honey buzzard rises into the sky, wings long and flexible, gliding as if the heat itself is carrying it home. No rush, no panic, just quiet confidence. So what's smarter, being strong enough to fight the world or clever enough to rewrite its rules? The Oriental honey buzzard doesn't conquer the desert by force. It just outsmarts it, one hive at a time. Some birds belong to the sky. The golden eagle owns it. You'll see it high above the stony ridges of Arabia, wings stretched wider than a man is tall, bronze feathers glinting like fire in the sun. Everything about it radiates dominance, the kind that doesn't need to roar because everything else already knows its place. It's the desert's version of royalty, calm, precise, terrifyingly efficient. When it locks eyes on prey, there's no escape, not for foxes, hares, or even young gazelles. It dives at 240 kilometers per hour, talons forward, a living missile of feathers and fury. One strike, one silence. That's not hunting. That's physics with intent. And yet, it's not all violence. Golden eagles are thinkers, calculating wind, angles, even the terrain before attacking. They learn, they adjust, they teach their young how to read the desert like a living map. Generations of flight lessons passed down not in words but in shadows. Here's something magnificent. When a pair bonds, it's for life. They build huge nests of sticks and bones on cliffs, returning year after year to the same spot. Some of those nests grow taller than a man, layered with decades of devotion and dust. In a world of constant change, that kind of loyalty feels like defiance. Across Arabia, the golden eagle is more than a bird. It's a symbol of freedom, endurance, and fire. Its image marks emblems, legends, and flags for a reason. It's not just a hunter, it's an idea, the embodiment of pride that refuses to fade. But there's a softness under the steel. When the sun sets and the air cools, the pair perches side by side, silent silhouettes against an orange horizon. Two crowns sharing one sky. So tell me, what's real power? The force that strikes fear, or the grace that needs none? The golden eagle doesn't chase glory. It is glory, written in flame, flying through the heart of the desert. Some birds carry legends. This one carries a throne. The imperial eagle isn't just another raptor in Arabia's sky. It's the crown itself, the last true monarch of the desert winds. Big, broad-shouldered, draped in dark chocolate feathers with golden highlights. It looks like it's wearing a royal cloak. Its stare, cold, sharp, unbothered. The kind that makes jackals rethink their life choices. You don't notice an imperial eagle arriving. You notice everything else getting quiet. Unlike the restless migrants, this eagle holds territory. One stretch of rocky plateau, a few acacias, a cliff for the nest. That's the kingdom. And anything that moves inside it better have permission. It hunts like a sniper. Patient, unflinching, striking with explosive speed. No wasted effort, no missed chances. Here's something poetic. This species once ruled from Eastern Europe to Central Asia, but its empire's shrinking. In Arabia, only a few pairs remain, ghosts of power in a world that's forgetting how to look up. And yet, those who've seen one say it feels like watching history fly. Every wing beat is ancestry. Every dive, legacy. It feeds on hares, birds, sometimes even young foxes. But it's not greed, it's balance. When the imperial eagle hunts, the desert breathes easier. The ecosystem resets. That's what real rulers do. They preserve what they rule. Mated pairs build enormous nests year after year, sometimes so large they bend trees under the weight. They raise just one or two chicks. Not heirs, but chosen successors. Because in this bloodline, strength isn't inherited, it's proven. And when that young eagle finally takes off, rising into the blinding light above Arabia's dunes, the parents just watch. Silent, still, proud. No ceremony, no applause, just the continuation of something ancient. So tell me, when power fades, what remains? The title or the legacy? The imperial eagle doesn't reign by force anymore. It reigns by memory. The last emperor of fire and sand, still holding court in the endless sky. Every story needs an ending, and every desert, it seems, hides a resurrection. Enter the white-tailed eagle, the great comeback king of Arabia's skies. It's massive, unmistakable, a wingspan wider than a doorway, a pale crown, and that bold, bright tail flashing like a comet over the dunes. Once, this bird vanished from most of the Middle East. Now, it's back. You'll find it gliding over coastal lagoons, mountain lakes, even mangrove edges. Anywhere water dares to exist in the desert, it doesn't chase mirages. It waits for real life to return, then reclaims it. Fish, waterfowl, carrion, nothing escapes its gaze for long. It hunts with patience, shadowing the waves until the strike feels almost inevitable. When those talons close, it's like the sea itself gives up. This bird isn't a wanderer, it's a rebuilder. When pollution and poaching nearly erased it from Arabia, it adapted, migrated, survived, quietly. And when the waters healed, it came back, as if answering a promise older than memory. Here's the miracle. The white-tailed eagle can live over 30 years, returning to the same nest season after season, each time layering new branches over the old. Some nests become towers, meters wide, heavy as a motorcycle, monuments to persistence. That's not just instinct, that's devotion carved into time. And there's poetry in how it moves. No rush, no panic, just absolute authority. Every wing beat feels deliberate, like the desert itself pauses to watch. It's not chasing dominance, it's embodying renewal. The Arabs once called it the sea eagle, the bridge between land and ocean, symbol of strength reborn. And now, after decades of silence, its cry echoes again. Rough, raw, triumphant. So here's the final question. Does the desert ever truly kill what it burns? Or does it forge it into something new? The white-tailed eagle is proof that even in a land of dust and death, the sky never forgets who once ruled it. And sometimes, it invites them back for one last flight. And there you have it. 20 survivors, 20 symbols of everything the Arabian desert stands for. Silence, endurance, and the kind of beauty that doesn't ask for permission. From the ostrich sprinting through heat that melts the horizon, to the white-tailed eagle returning from extinction's edge. Every one of these birds rewrote the rules of survival. They don't just live in the desert, they define it. Some endure by strength, some by patience, and a few by sheer audacity. They've turned sand into stage, wind into weapon, and emptiness into art. No water, no mercy, still, they fly. Maybe that's what the Arabian Peninsula really teaches. That life isn't about comfort, it's about continuing anyway. Every feather out there is a quiet rebellion against the impossible. So next time someone tells you nothing lives out here, remember the vultures that clean the bones, the eagles that carve the thermals, and the ghosts that glide where no map dares to end. The desert isn't dead, it's alive, fierce, flying, and watching from above. This is the realm of fire and sand, and its kings still have wings.